welcome. My name is Elaine, and I am with my fabulous podcast partner, Kathy Keegan. And this is Still Human. We created this podcast because we wanted to take a comedic look at life and being a coach and an entrepreneur, business owner, and bring some humor and fun to it. Partly because all the things we wish we had known when we first started our businesses, when we were both in the crazy, wild, big masterminds that were awesome, but there were big gaps. And just, you know what? I always say, like, if you're laughing, you're winning. And so, and we love having guests, but today we're the guests. So here we go. It's June. I am excited. I had a really challenging day yesterday, and I can't think of anybody I'd rather process my life with than Kathy Keegan. So, hi, Kathy.
Hey, back at you. That's how I'm feeling too. It's we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, which shouldn't it shouldn't be a big deal, except that it affects communications, electronics, and like such as. And so. What?
Communications? Okay, just kidding.
I didn't. Yes. And so, yes. So my computer, every time I go to sit down at my computer, it just shuts off. So maybe it's getting old. And yeah, so it's been a little bit of a rough process because I want to be at meetings on time. I try to do that. And what happens is this thing is now just kind of shutting down. And one of the things I'm noticing is that my practice of meditation, my very ordinary but wonderful practice of meditation, is helping me enormously. I'm coming up on almost a year in doing meditation every single day. I use an app which helps me because the app has humor. It has humor in it. And so, you've got to be able to laugh at this stuff because I don't feel like laughing when my computer's not working and I'm supposed to be somewhere. There's a part of me that wants to arrive and say, you don't understand, I tried, and it's sort of like, in some ways it doesn't matter. But you still I always want to explain myself. I want to explain to you that I'm really a thoughtful person. And
right, I'm really right. I don't want you to think that I'm flaky or, ooh, this is such a good topic, Kathy. I love it.
Yeah.
Can I share something?
Oh, I would love to hear it.
So, and I'm so glad we're sort of in the same kind of here
in the twilight.
I love that song. So, and I know sometimes I get kind of wound up of like, I got to get this done, and I had several calls yesterday where the person said, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be late, but I'll be there by X amount of time. And I was like, okay, but I do have to honor my next call, which felt great. And while I was waiting for this person, I tuned my ukulele and I practiced a song because I am wanting to put a little bit more music and fun into my life. And because I promised Sylvia, the lady that I am, I take care of part-time, that I would play her a song on my ukulele. So it was really fun. And I felt like, oh, Elaine, what you took 15 minutes. And instead of going, and starting something else that was work that I would start and then get interrupted, which adds to my frustration, I did that. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool, fun hack, possibly,
Oh, I think that, first of all, I did not know you were a ukulele player. So well, my jaw is dropping as far as it can, being held within my.
That loosely, it's more like a. I'm a ukulele practicer in the moment.
That's wonderful. My friend Kim, who was on our one of our episodes, the peaceful divorce mediator.
Oh yes,
she plays ukulele. So.
Oh my God.
Yeah, she plays very, very well. And so every now and again, she'll be on Facebook and she'll be playing it. So I'm excited that you're doing that and that you're using music Because, and it's also, a ukulele is a funny instrument. It's
Well,
kind
and
of like an accordion in that,
it's funny and it's forgiving.
yes, just like an accordion. No, I have no idea if an accordion is, I don't know if an accordion.
Just like nothing. No, I played the French horn, which is like the hardest brass instrument. Why I picked that? Why did I pick that?
I had
You know,
that
and
ring
then,
on my phone.
oh my God. And I was like, first chair. And then I got braces and I was like, forget this. I'm going to go sing and dance. But yeah, no, I'm excited because I seem to pick like the hardest thing sometimes. And I'm like, maybe you could pick something that's a little bit softer and easier.
Yeah.
But you know, I love that wanting to explain. And like, do you ever struggle with hating to disappoint others?
Oh, this almost sounds like, but wait, there's more. Yes, I do. It feels like this hollowness inside me. And one of the things that I'm learning is that the clearer I am, the easier it is for me to feel okay about saying no. I'm reading.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Can you just say that one more time? Because that was like pearls.
The clearer I am about everything, the easier it is to say no. So this is a new practice for me. This is not, I made that sound so like, oh, I do it all the time. Yes, my whole life has just been full of just being so clear. Because, I mean, I don't know was a big phrase that I used a lot. And I don't know as a placeholder for, just think about it a little bit more. Actually, you do know, and you might be afraid to say it. You might not feel like you're in a safe enough space to say what it is you really want to say, right? So yes, it's very, very difficult because, you know, we want people to be happy. You know, part of who we are and how we're connected, we want people to be happy. And we notice, especially you and me and people who are like us, we will notice things, something's askew, something's off. And so we're attuned to that, and we want to figure out if there's some way we can solve it, which of course is unfortunately the worst possible thing you can do. unless it's an actual emergency with, you know, actual actions that you can take. You know, because what happens is I see someone who's feeling sad and I'm thinking, why the long face? That in my mind, I don't say that out loud. And and the thing is, you want to help somebody who doesn't feel okay.
Right.
But the other thing that we know now is you cannot necessarily tell by looking at someone what they're really feeling. So all this work around emotions, there is almost no face that somebody makes that you can say across the board is angry. Because it could be somebody serving a tennis ball and they're being really, really focused.
Right. Or intense or right.
Oh my God, I just opened up a whole bunch of subjects there.
I love it. But I want to tell this story. I want to tell on myself and a part of, and my identity is going, I feel like it could help somebody. So
tell.
I'm gonna, because
do tell.
I'm still human, and part of our mission is to share our journeys. So the hope to help others.
Right.
There's that help thing again, but and I think it also helps us process. And I know I learned from you every time you open your mouth. Kathy Keegan is always reading like 15 books at the same time. And every time I talk to her, she's like, do you know what I learned about da-da-da? Like, it's just so fun. You don't ever have to go to Wikipedia again. Just hang out with Kathy.
Well, you know what? I'm thinking now of taking up the ukulele so I can play the ukulele. Ukulele. It's kind of like nuclear. You know, I have trouble pronouncing it. And I can play it while I'm reading all the books.
Oh, good. That would be.
And we can take that.
Hard.
We can take that show on the road.
Yes, we'll do it.
Let's watch it, lady.
And you can read out loud.
That sounds like a winning show. So
maybe
tell me,
flash some skit. No, wait. Okay,
I want to hear your story. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Tell me your story.
No. It's great. So I am. growing up as a people pleaser, and I really do love serving others, and I have to fight against, I love to feel needed. I actually get a high off of feeling needed. Like, oh, they need me. Oh, there's a part of me that really loves that. And so that's one of the things I'm really working on with my Al-Anon program and being back in therapy, because I do love serving, and there is a line. And I had a coach several years ago who was helping me with the launch, and she was talking about disappointment and how many of us hate disappointing others. So then we in turn disappoint ourselves. Mm. And I was like twitching when she was saying that, but it's great. It's like, once you have that awareness, you can't really go back, even if you try. So anyway, long story longer, just kidding. No, so I've been hearing about this one group that I'd rather not say. I've been hearing about this for years, that it's supposed to be a great business incubator. It's a great place to network. And the first time I heard about it was like in 2008, and it was a lot of money. And I remember thinking, no way. And then, I've just heard about it, met somebody in it, it's in this thing. And so, every once in a while, it's like, well, if something keeps coming into my world, I pay attention. And I know it will be great. I know I would love meeting people and networking. And, so there's a part of me that's like, ooh, is this going to be my next thing? Meanwhile, I am in a year-long mastermind with Noreen that is a big commitment. And then I am slightly behind with some of the work, but I mean, she wouldn't say that, but like, there's some things I want to review and go deeper into. And I'm on the court doing the work as well. I guess there's a part of me that thinks I could be doing more. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also in this other community doing it's a class that meets once a week, and we're almost done, but there's a lot of people I want to get to know and delve more into. So there's tons of people I have connected with that I can go connect deeper, that I can circle back to. Tons. Probably 100 or more, I would say, from this last year of networking virtually and my life, right? At least 100, maybe even 150. And there is a part of me that resists that meticulous, detailed follow-up. It's uncomfortable for me. I find it, I project that it's going to be tedious. Often once I get going, I actually have fun with it, but I still have that resistance. And I think Kathy can relate, right? So, and there is a part of me that loves being busy. That was one of my favorite new drugs when I put down alcohol and bad boys and Doritos was, busy. I love busy. I feel productive. It helps me feel good about myself, cross things off my list. Yes, right? Get it done, which is great, but whatever got you here is not going to get you there, right? So anyway, so I'm in this whole thing. I'm super busy. I'm working my business. I'm so excited. And I have this idea. Oh my God, I still really want to join this other place. And I have this thought of, well, they'll help me. They said that they grow your business, and it's a special deal that's about to go up. And so I literally was like, I had the call. The guy was like, here's the link. And I am like this close to doing it. And and then I had another call, and then this lady that I know from this group called me, and we had a conversation, and she said a couple of wacky things that I was like, red flag, red flag. And then she said, well, what do you want out of it? And I said, well, I want to 10X my business. And when I said that, I realized, actually, I want you guys to grow my business. I realized that if I joined this thing, there was a part of me that was going to be like, okay, you guys, you said that you were the incubators. Here.
Right.
Show me. Mm-hmm. Because I would rather throw money. Until now, one of my habits was throwing money at things instead of doing the work that's right in front of me. I'm embarrassed. Like, I don't want to admit this conversation. I'm like, Jesus, Elaine, you are 53 years old. But I feel like this is an important pattern for me to break. But I know that this happens for other people, like a throwing money at something and abdicating, or or whatever, and avoiding. And so the miracle is, at the very last minute, I did not click that link, and I cried a lot. I cried a lot because I realized I was worried about what this man would think. I was worried that I had disappointed him, but I also saw that this is the pattern that has kept me stuck.
Wow.
Spreading myself too thin, half-assing too many other things, and praying and hoping that someone else is going to do the work for me, because a part of me still needs to be rescued, or I'm tired, or I'm, whatever that thing is. So anyway, huge.
Oh my God, Elaine.
Hairball.
I mean,
coughed up.
Well, and I think it's probably one of the clearest hairballs ever. Like, a lot of times, you have to really unpick them, and there's all this crap in there. This is beautiful. And, I am so happy for you. There are so many offers out there, and we are human. And I can tell you to this day, if somebody came up with a pill that allowed me to eat everything I wanted and not gain weight, I'd be the first in line.
Hell yeah.
There is a part of me.
Five.
Yeah, if one is good, five must be better. I mean,
oh my
I think
God.
I've told this story before. When I was a little kid, and I, maybe 9 or 10, I saw in some magazine that if you used this and cleansed your face, you'd have such a super clean face. And so I thought, then why don't I do it 9 times? Right? So I had no sense of size of what enough is, so that's what you're talking about. What is enough? And there are a lot of great opportunities out there. I was in an incubator about 4 years ago, and it was fabulous, but I was where I was at the time. And once you're in those, you're kind of having to go along with where the whole group is going, which isn't bad or good unless you feel a sense of what you're talking about, being behind. And the only way that we're behind is if we make ourselves be behind. Or, I think that's really something that I do to myself. I identified so strongly with what you're talking about, because there's the element of help, wanting to be able to ask for help. A new question for me lately has been, who can help me with this? Because the other extreme is trying to do everything alone. And so we talk a lot here about sort of spectrums and continuums, because we're not binary, all or nothing. There's so much in between. And so it's not just a sense of, oh, you'll just do that for me. It's a sense of relief and help. And so now you're able to say, what is the help I'm really looking for? Right? That's what you discovered, was what's happening here is, I know that I need help. What does it need to be? And how do I get clear on what that help is and the best next steps for me and growing my business? It's fabulous. It's a miracle. It's wonderful.
Oh my God. And one more thing, Kathy, this is like my favorite episode. When you said behind. First of all, I've always had issues with my behind, but I'm bummed. Had to add a little humor there. But I just saw another, I call it my bulimic thinking, the all or nothing. Oh my God, I ate 5 Doritos. I'm horrible. It's like, it's, that started for me at such an early age, but I just realized something else is when I feel empowered and I've got a coach and I'm like, okay, this is my goal. I want to, double my business or whatever my thing is, to set a goal. And it's a stretch, right? But then I also realize what happens, and this is unconsciously until now, is then I relate to myself like I'm behind. Well, I'm behind in my business. Well, I'm behind on my goal. I set this goal and I haven't made it the last, I set a goal that I would like to sign up one new student or one new client a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm playing this game of 15 conversations a week. And the past 2 weeks, I have not met that goal.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of just being able to go, I'm behind, and then I put pressure on myself. And anyway, so I realized, and I feel like maybe somebody else can relate to this.
Oh,
like
I relate to it. Hello.
Right. Or like, okay, so here's a goal. So I'm taking action. I am. So let's look at what I'm doing, what's effective, what's not, what can I do better? But can I take out this whole make wrong judgment, shaming, suck my energy till I want to die flavor of self-hatred called I'm behind.
Right.
Like it doesn't serve me. And I can't tell you how many people I talk to that have that same thing. Like I've been reaching out to people I was in the mastermind with, and this guy is a healer, brilliant guy, does all kinds of cool things. And he's telling me about what he's doing. He goes, well, I'm kind of, I don't know if he used the word behind, but he goes, I'm not where I want to be. And I could hear the make wrong. And I was like, you're doing great. You moved your family from New Jersey to Florida, and you've been flying up New Jersey and and oh yeah, there was a global pandemic. I said, you're doing great. And and it's so interesting how we do this to ourselves.
That's why we need each other, because the thing that you're talking about is so true, and it's ingrained in us from the get-go. And you go to school and you have something due on a certain date. Now there are things about deadlines that do make sense, right? When you're running a project, there's a reason why you need something by a certain date. If you're running teams, there are things that have to have some kind of a deadline or you never get anything done. But the whole concept of, as a human, in your process, in your time, in your life, and in your higher power's time, if you believe in a higher power, there's what you're doing too over these last few weeks is you're having conversations and gathering important information. You're finding out what works conversationally and what doesn't. You're practicing all of that. Yo-Yo Ma practiced 5 minutes a day when he was a little kid. He's a brilliant cellist. What is it that we have to do all the time? We practice, we practice, we practice. And the thing that I think people get when they work with us, Elaine, is that we're coming from a place of service and a place of love. I think it's okay to say that word out loud because there's a real desire to see who you are, hear who you are, recognize who you are, and an awareness that within you, you're sparkling, that you are shining, that you are sparkling. And what is it that we do is we help people uncover those layers, not because they're wrong or bad or because they're flawed, but because it gets covered up, just like what you were saying, where all this time you're doing all these things and you can't recognize that the doing is the practice. Right? And then the other thing is when you have a goal like that of booking, say, a client a week or whatever, sometimes you can get lost in the service part. So there's always that balance of saying, my desire, I'm putting out into the world that I'd like a new client. I'd like 3 clients by the end of July. You put that out there and at the same time, be in the process and recognize what's happening all along the way. Now, again, I say this to you sitting here and it all sounds so cacciatore.
Oh my God, you're the best coach.
Like I've never gone through any of this and it is my greatest challenge in the world. One of the things I'm practicing right now is asking for things out loud and saying who I am out loud. This is very hard. And I started it with 3 very close friends, and all I did was I wrote something about who I am. So, how I work with funny, smart, determined women who feel stuck, trapped, pigeonholed, insert your own personal favorite synonym here, in their jobs. And that I want to work with them to help them uncover what's, help like remove all those layers of other stuff, because these guys are so capable. People are just throwing work at them and they don't know how to say no. They're on the yes express. It's like, sure, people please, people please, people please. And then they're so valuable that nobody wants them to go anywhere, right? Because, oh my God, if that person's not in the office, we're screwed, right? So anyway, this is what I want to be doing, and I am doing. But it's been hard for me to own it and just say it out loud. So I wrote this little paragraph to 3 very close friends, and I said, all I'm asking you to do is to read this paragraph, to read it into being. This is my little micro step process to being allowed to say who I am and not getting punished for it. Because there's a deep-seated fear in me that when I say who I am out loud, someone's going to put me down or tease me.
Yeah, you're gonna be too big for your britches. Or too much.
Exactly.
Or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. And so I'm taking those baby steps so that I can go out and start having these conversations with people to talk about what it is they're interested in, and if there's a way that I can be of service. And so this is the slope, the slippery slope of life. This is Sisyphus getting stronger and stronger, being able to handle bigger and bigger boulders up the mountain, even though they fall down every time. And Sisyphus may not be such a necessarily bad thing. There's something about practice that it doesn't make perfect, but it definitely makes better. Right?
And oh my God, so much juicy stuff, and I think as somebody who's very in touch with, I'm very emotional, right? I emote. That's why I'm a great performer, but I'm learning how to use my cognitive function more of just like, okay, well, let's look at the conversations. Let's look at how your day goes. Let's look at, how can you be more effective and you don't have to make it mean all this other stuff.
Right.
Internalizing it or whatever, and I think this is growing pains for anybody who is an entrepreneur,
right?
Human, right? And, I've been working with this client and I admire this guy. His work ethic is amazing. He does so much. His word for the year was risk. And he's in his 60s, looks 40, and it's been a challenge because of his schedule and and I realized, like, what, I don't think that the way we're going is serving him anymore, and that was hard for me to realize, but it's been kind of bubbling up and so but I would rather have a small coaching practice that has integrity than feeling like, well, I'm kind of serving them. It's like, I only want it if it's really working for them and they're able and willing to do the work. Not saying be perfect, not saying, so, I'm I'm like, but I could use that money. Yeah, but it doesn't serve him and it doesn't serve you. And then, maybe he'll be able to come and make it more of a priority, but it just,
let me tell you, one of the things that was the deciding factor when I was looking at coaching schools, my mother, when I started to look into coaching, my mother wasn't dying. And there was this, she was. Yeah. She had gotten a diagnosis, and then she got another diagnosis that shortened her time even more. Ooh. And so I was talking to different people about coaching programs and all of that. And this one, the woman, I told her, look, here's what's going on in my life. This is just not the time for me. And you know what? She didn't press it. She totally understood it. She got it. She was the first person I called when I was ready to go back into coaching. And so, and to actually go to school to learn all the principles and practice. practices. And that made a big difference. The other thing that I wanted to say is so there is our brain, there is our thought process, and there's this thinking that we can think our way through something, right? So I know this is going to be hard. I know this is a challenge. And like when you were going through this whole thing of, do I join this group? Like, I understand that I'm super busy and I understand all these things. And so I've been saying a lot lately that our brain's main function isn't to think. It's one of the nice things that our brain does, but it's to manage our operating system. So all the complex functions within us, right? And so I was just thinking about the scene from Young Frankenstein, where Gene Wilder is about to go in to see the monster, right? He's going to go in and he says to everybody, do not open that door. No matter how loud I cry, no matter what I say. And so you've got all these great characters making their little weird faces. It's a hilarious scene.
I want to watch it again.
He knows. He's like, I'm going in there. No matter what happens, keep me in there. He walks in, they close the door behind him and lock it. And he sees the monster and his body reacts. And when that happens, all your thinking has gone out the window and it's about survival, right? Yeah. And so all those great thoughts about, because you think beforehand, it's going to be okay. It's just a question of me rationalizing with him and working with him. And then you get in there and you're like, oh, that is not even possible. That is just not possible. And so I think it's just such a fun and funny example of how we like to be able to think we can think our way through something. But at the end of the day, we experience it full body.
Wow. I love that. It makes me think of, I got to be in New Zealand after I graduated college. I got to go on this amazing trip. I was in New Zealand for 6 weeks and Australia for 6 weeks. It was
beautiful.
Amazing. And I got to swim with the dolphins in Keikura. And I had 2 wetsuits on because I'm so cold natured. And, I love dolphins. It was my first dolphin encounter. It was out in the wild. And, you sort of get trained to do it, and you're on the boat, and the whole point of going out in the freezing ocean is to swim with the dolphins in the wild. It's amazing. And they tell you to make noises. So I was like singing Amazing Grace, but it was so cold. So I was like, amazing, and then you're splashing. And then you're under, you're in the water with a mask on. And when you see this big thing coming towards you, even if your head knows it's a dolphin, this is why you're doing this. Your body is like, get away from this. You're in the water, because we're not on land, And to me, that's such a great example. Yeah. And I had to override because my body was like, oh my God, that's a big thing. It could be a shark, And even though they were like smiling at you and there was a mama and a baby, and I'm so glad I did it. But to me, that's such a great example of your body going, oh, no, thank you. Right. So,
that's so, oh
my God,
Elaine, to our listeners and our viewers, we've covered a lot of ground as usual. This is kind of how we roll. And I think that if you want help unpacking it, if any of it resonates with you, I think you should think about getting in touch with Elaine, who can be reached at captivatethecrowd.com. Elaine is brilliant, and you hear her, you know her process, and you know what she does is brilliant. I've experienced it myself. And then if you want to talk to me, for par example, you can reach me at kathykeegan.com, KathyKeegan.com. MOUSE.
See, yes, thank you so much for the plug, Kathy. And I have to say, you are one of the most delightful, amazing human beings. And one of the reasons I love talking with you is you're no pressure. Like if you've ever thought about coaching, if you've ever struggled with your relationship to work or yourself or life, or just feeling stuck in a job, or looking for the next job, or wherever you are, Kathy's really an amazing person to help you process. And she is no pressure. So if you just want to have a conversation, I strongly,
And it's totally
strongly
free.
suggest.
One of my nephews,
Right.
for a long time, he used to say "fwee" instead of "free." And yeah, right. And both of us, it's so important to have those conversations beforehand. If you're looking for anybody, somebody does need to speak with you and not charge you, right? Because
Yes.
I mean, that's really important. So,
And I feel like I want to create a safe space so that we can explore, and so that you're not like, when's the sales pitch
Right,
coming? Because
exactly.
I hate that. And I also, my mission is to help heal the planet one story at a time. And so, if you want to work on video or storytelling, and or just being able to communicate, come play with me. I do free master classes once a month. Kathy's going to start doing more cool things on Clubhouse or wherever. So make sure, you connect with us so that you can come play, come be in the community.
I love it.
And also, if there's any subject you would like for us to tackle, we both have been in the transformational and training world for 23 plus years, a while. So there's a lot of wisdom and a lot of laughter and a lot of love. So, oh my God, thank you so much, Kathy.
Oh, thank
I did not
you.
expect
This was so much
to go there,
fun.
but hopefully, I feel like if one person heard this story and it was helpful, then it was worth carrying my ass.
You did. You bared it, and it's beautiful.
Bared it.
It's very, very beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You're so kind. So until next time.
Okay, thanks,
Bye, everybody.
everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.